All right, so there's going to be the pretty 5-minute practice of where you want a ward to basically go against invades, and yep, you just want to put the wards
Okay.
in the fountain.
No. Hold on.
Thank
We're
you,
just checking
Valia.
out. All right, so forget the timer. We're not gonna work with the timer on the top. What we wanna focus in here is your momentums, right? So let's say that you start up the game, which we're gonna walk it back there, and this is all dependent on your team comp. But I'm gonna go through what defensively lockdowns are going to be. I'm gonna start from the top side all the way to the bot side, and then we're gonna talk about um, warding, right? So one of the first things, the reason that you ward early game is necessarily not because you want to see the momentum of the other team or where they're going to be pushing their vision control, but to eliminate pocket holes defensively. So even if you're going to be on the offense, sometimes the defensive warding is going to take you into a dub because let's say that I invade, right? And this usually happens when somebody invade through here and then some other group goes through there, right? They're going to meet in the middle. They're gonna be like, well, they're not here, so the fight is gonna be here or the fight is gonna be here, right?
Mm.
They're just gonna meet each other when they do those rotations. Defensive warding is gonna give you a dub on that if the team wards appropriately and they get an inch of information of where they could be, because then you can stack without having to, do a face brush. So on top side, a lot of the times when you're playing with a top laner that is mindful of this macro, what they're gonna see is that the jungler is, if you start on the bot side right here, like I am, right? A lot of the times the jungler is gonna try and control this quadrant because this vision control right here is the only choke of vision denial that you're gonna have in this side. If you're going to go through the top side, a lot of the top laners, what they're gonna do is they're gonna put themselves in a position where this quadrant of control is more visible. And then I'll show you once you put yourself in here, how you can see further than that area right there. So you can see them coming before they see you, even if they're ward. I'm gonna show you right here. See that? The moment that I cross here, they see me. So
Yeah.
go back right over here. You see what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
I can see them.
Mhm.
So a lot of the times your top laner, if you're on the opposite side of the team, they're just coming here. They just shield right there. There's absolutely zero chance that you're gonna get ganked or dropped in. Now, however,
If they come off the fat wall.
they've come up the fat wall, right? Which you get a top laner that is very aggressive. Let's say like a Riven wanted to get a cheese or something like that. Then your team can kind of telegraph that by having your jungler go all the way here, and I'm gonna use my momentums here, so that way I can just hop walls and whatnot. Your jungler is gonna be basically playing decoy, and he's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I'm here," and they're gonna see you here because most of the time they want to control this brush, right, in and out of your brush areas, and your jungler is gonna be playing aggressively. You can put up a ward right here if you want, and all you're doing is you're creating a decoy point, so they see you, and they start focusing on like where the jungler is because that's usually the kind of the talk that they're gonna do, while your entire team kind of subjects themselves against this ward right here through this brush and then stack and then just push this plow and then plow that one right here. So let's say that I'm the pike, right? And my team is in here with me. My jungler is like doing weird clown stuff over there. Then I can just walk them here, start cocking my W, pull, and if they're here, they're dead. If there was nobody here, I can just literally sit in here for 5 seconds, wait it again, and this time I don't want to go directly like this, right? I don't want to go directly like that. I want to go from this side of the brush into an angle like that, because the chance is that this person that is here, the moment that they see me, they're gonna walk,
Yeah.
unless they don't react at all and then you miss. But the prediction is that they're gonna walk. See what I mean?
Angle coverage on skill shots is
Exactly.
better than
So the
straight.
skill shot, yeah, the skill shot is to grab that entire angle right there. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. So that's playing offensively towards the top side. There is also the same thing that you do here. Let's say that this guy is really smart. The guy that is here, right? A really smart guy. You come around, you check, there's nobody here, and then your jungler hasn't seen the other jungler, and like, okay, so obviously we have no vision. Then the entrance is right here, and then you start cocking from here into that. That's a blind angle right here. You don't see it. You see what I mean?
Yep.
If you pull it from there, that's a
You
blind
can
angle.
you can do Shift B to make a target dummy, I believe. and
Yeah,
you can kind of show the vision.
if you got somebody in, which is what you usually do on a scrimmage, is that whoever is the hook, don't ward. The ward comes from somebody else. You can ward right here, and then you get him right there. You can get that ward like a million times right there. Just put it right on top of that third egg right there. See that?
Yeah.
And it gives you vision right away. So
Second rock, third
you're
egg.
yeah, you're cocking your gun. Somebody wards. You see them, boom, you get him. Wow, real fast, right? Aggressive intakes right there. That's one angle. The other angle is this one right here. So this angle you have to be very fast. So this would be when everybody is out in the mountain, right, in the fountain, and then they just get the little boost, and then you're going to press against this side over here, and then just wait right here. You don't push until everybody's stacked. If everybody's stacked at the very moment, then you keep plowing through, and then you go that way. Or you can go directly here, ward that right there, and wait, because in solo queue a lot of the times, or even in flex, the jungler or whoever is pathing, they put themselves in this position to get vision control of that choke. You would see somebody here, right? So if that ward wasn't here 3 seconds before that guy makes it from the mid lane through here, that's it. You have full control. That guy is just gonna be sitting in here, doing his emails and spamming or whatever. But you got full vision of it. And the way that you can do that is three on this side, two on that side, and then the two are the ones that initiate first. So the pinch attack is two of them. Close this gap. Your only momentum is gonna go forward into your jungle, but you're gonna get caught up by these dudes, and then that's it. You're the hooking guy, like let's say me. I'm gonna wait until my guys are here and they show before I come, so I can predict a flash or do whatever I want. Most of the times, if they do flash panic, it's gonna be a flash panic right here, right? And from this distance right here, you got a free flash. But let's say that they don't want to flash. Let's say that they play an ego play, right? And then they just go right here and then they flash, which is a waste of flash, in my opinion. The amount of space that you're gonna create from here to here, useless. Why? Because you got somebody like Pike that is gonna come in, flash, and boom, that's it. I got you. And if it's a Nautilus, even better, or like a Blitzcrank, right? Because you're gonna pull them towards you. With me, I mean, the slow will be good enough to secure the kill. Now you don't have any way to move. My entire team has about 60 to 40, 40 to 60% movement onto you, and they have to react towards you. Like it will become a team fight or it becomes a first blood, whichever the case is. So choke here, control here. Very subtle, and then you play. You're basically fishing right here. And the reason why you put it in here is because the person that is washing in this side, you don't get to see that ward. So let me put a bunch of wards in here so that way that vision goes away. Right, there you go. All right, so now I'm here. That ward is invisible. You see it? Do you see where it cuts off? Like right here?
Yep.
So all you gotta know is that in this brush, if you calculate it out where these blue flowers are, there's no vision past those flowers. That's a little technique to mask a ward. They will never see you warding. If that person gets in there first, they will still not see that ward. Put it right here. Boop. You can see the entire quadrant right there. Same thing with this, right? You're pushing in through, and let's say that you're just going through the entire brush area, and then you push all the way through this side over here. Your wards should be in the edge of that. That will give you full vision control of this brush. This side, if the top laner starts to closing in. If you're wanting to go a little bit aggressive and it is past 1 minute, also deny these. Those are escape routes that they can utilize, and reactively they're gonna get to that before you. And this side over here, if let's say that you push all the way through here and you haven't seen anybody, then the same thing applies. From here, you got the two people pushing in here, three on the back. So two close in, three on the back. Put up a ward here so that way you don't get caught. And the person that is going to be pushing to this side, you're going to cut them as they exit the brush. So you don't even need to put a ward right here. You can just cut that area. All right, give me 1 second, guys. All right, sorry about that. So those are strategies that you guys can work on. If you're on the defense, I'm gonna show you how to do it from both sides on the top side. Let's say that you're in the defensive portion of the game, like you got an enchanter, late game carries, and your early game is abysmal. Your jungler doesn't change. If you're starting on the bot side, you want to cut any movement in here. The longer you're sitting here without any vision is, the more risk you run. So a lot of people, what they do is, oh, I don't want to drop my ward until like a minute or like something like that. So then I can be doing this, and by the time that I recall, then I drop the ward, right? And it lasts longer. Sure, that works in solo queue. It doesn't really work on flex or any other competitive, because the problem is if you're just sitting in there, nothing stops me from coming in here and being aggressive. Nothing stops me from coming this way and then catching you from behind, because you're not gonna have vision behind you either. Like when you're sitting in here, this is like the worst place to be sitting at.
Hey guys.
Understanding what I'm explaining. So
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
got
yeah, yeah.
questions, just pop them up. I'd rather you guys be asking questions than just listening to me talk rambling.
Who should be placing the wards here? Is this like
So
Non-hook.
this is
support and
jungle.
top
This is
or
jungle side. This is jungle side. And if you're
okay?
the jungler, you don't, like I said, you don't want to be here, right? You wanna your control when you're sitting in this brush is terrible, because most of the people are gonna push towards the front of this and then wait it out. I've seen this happen a lot, especially in solo queue low elo. That they seen a video where it says, hey, you can recall and drop the ward, right? It's cool, I get it, but 20 seconds is not gonna save you anything, because the problem is that while you're here putting up a ward, your team is three manning or two manning the bot side. So if they invade, it's a 2v5 right away, right? So it makes no sense. These wards are just preliminary, just to see movement towards the end. All you want to know is, do they have a ward on you, and do they have a ward, or do you have a ward on them, right? So you're trading vision. I know that if I come in here and I drop it first, and they don't see me, that means I win the war game. The war warfare, because they don't know if I have this warded, but I'll see them drop it right here. If I know I have an embedding team and I'm not an enchanter team with a late comp, my ward is gonna be right here. And the reason why I want it right there is because if you look at it, look at the amount of vision that it gives you. It gives you vision towards this area, which is the exit, and it gives you an area towards the red, and it gives you area over here. So right at that corner, it gives you full area control. And half the time, when people are going to be using their sweepers, they're gonna go for this brush. They're gonna start their sweeper right around here to see the brush, and then from here they see if there's anything in main lane, and then from here they see this, right? That's like classic jungling, brush control. You're coming in here, checking this out. Okay, there's nothing, nothing, and nothing. But they neglected the fact that we just saw you this entire time moving into the quadrant because you didn't check here. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So that's another way that you can do it on the top side. The top laner should be guarding his own ward like gold, because your drops on defensive or offensively, depending on where side you are. If you're on this side, right, you want to put your wards as further, as possible to it. A lot of the times, I've seen a lot of people do this, where you're playing against a matchup that is stronger than you, and you know that putting up a pink ward right here is gonna be inevitable, and you're gonna have to fight it off, right? So a lot of the times, the pink ward is not for the top laner to kill. That's for your jungler to kill. Your top laner doesn't want to run the risk of coming in here and clearing and then dying. So a good ward would be inside their brush, right? The same area that I told you guys a minute ago of where the vision control is. You can drop it right there, and that gives you that brush. And all you got to do now is play to this semicircle that is top lane right here, this side right here. Can you guys see my cursor
Nope.
by any chance?
No.
Okay, I'm
No.
gonna walk it in, so that way you guys can see the thing, right? So you're this semicircle right here that I'm like pathing.
Yeah.
That's your limit. You don't want to push further than that. Like let's say that you're playing something that scales like a kale. That's it. That's your golden ratio. You don't want to pass that. Nasus, you don't want to pass that. An Ornn, you don't want to pass that. And the reason why is like you can escape a gank, but you're an end game kind of champion. You want to be out there just farming. You're just farm machine. That's all you do. You don't want to kills. All you want to go is like full CS, right?
You want to play the
So
front 33rd in the lane.
fighting off somebody here might be a problem. So that ward right there works. Also, if you know that this is warded and you pushed, let's say like yeah, I push my thing and then I come and clear this ward. Do not drop the ward right here. Just drop it right around here. If there is no pinking here, no pinking there, you can put it right in there. And let me kill the other two wards real quick. All right, there you go. And what that's gonna give you is vision of the person that is gonna enter the brush. You'll see, right? Before he enters the brush, you can see him. Also, before he exits the brush, you can see him. So if you're playing defensively, there's absolute control. And also, if I had a pink, which I cannot counter pink against myself, but if you had a pink, the radius of that pink ward right here is not gonna catch that. That ward is invisible this entire time. So that's the reason why you put it in there. All right. So offensively, as the game progresses, I think we're gonna have a different workshop for that. Offensive and defensively, as the game progresses, is completely different. If you're ahead of the curve and your team is ahead, then you want to push vision control towards the opponent. You want to choke them out um, from being able to even enter their jungle. So every single time that they say, "Oh, I'm gonna take this camp," that's a point to counter. Or like, "I'm gonna try and get some vision control for an objective," that's a point to counter. And the same applies to you if you're playing from behind. You don't want to overextend your wards. You want to put the wards defensively where all your income is coming from mistakes that they're re-engaging into fights that they shouldn't have, and also being able to farm successfully without knowing if the other team is going to punish you. A lot of the times I see this mistake often happen where the support is the only one warding, which is a big issue. And then the support is alone trying to put a ward, and all of a sudden they get killed, and then everybody starts flaming the support. Oh, you're feeding. What are you doing alone? Blah blah blah. But nobody's helping, right? That happens too damn often, in my opinion. So be mindful of the spacing that you're controlling and how far your area is. Also, lateral movements. So if this is dead and this is alive, where should your area of control should be? Obviously
Outside.
towards, yeah, exactly. Obviously towards the objective, right? If you got a split pusher and he has no wards into the map, what is that? A bad split pusher. Not it's not that he's getting caught a lot or dying a lot. It's just that he doesn't put any emphasis in putting control. So like if you're split pushing, you always should carry at least one pink ward with you. Sweeper and pink ward. You don't use stealth wards. You use a pink ward and sweepers. Why? Because the better vision control that you can have on your top side, they won't know if you're pushing for a bait or if you're actually pushing for a siege. So you gotta keep your opponent always thinking: is this Bolivar or Nasus just trying to breach, or are they just baiting and engage? Which it could be both, right? A lot of the times you see that with Tryndamere players in high elo, that they just go into a lane and they control the vision control 100% of the time, and then they win because there's no punishment. You go and try to kill a Tryndamere, you're gonna be trading some ultimates for ultimates, right? Maybe even summoner spells. And then what ends up happening is they blow it up on the Tryndamere. Their team comes around, they barrage, and then boom, ace. Um, let's work on mid lane. Mid lane is tricky, so I'm gonna go with this briefly. But let's say that you are a defensive mid laner, like a control mage. You don't want to put a lot of emphasis on aggressive wards. I see a lot of the time some people come around and put the wards right here. This is good. Also, if you're playing from the side brushes and stuff like that, you can permanently, if you don't want to put that in there, like let's say that they don't have a Lee Sin or a Wukong or somebody that can just jump in the brush, right? You don't need to
Mhm.
put it in here. You can literally put it right here.
That's usually
Gives
where I
you,
put it.
yeah,
Yeah.
right there works.
Yeah, I was gonna ask
Um,
you about that word.
yeah, the bad side is your regular wards, in my opinion, if you're playing a control mage, you don't want to get sweepers until probably the time that you're getting ready to group, right? So the moment that you're ready to group, then that's when you're gonna go and say, okay, let's go ahead and start getting sweepers, and then the support should have plenty of regular wards, and all you have to do is carry your pinks, and that should be plenty of control. You should have five pinks at all times, so that's 5 points plus three. That's 8 points of vision. right off the bat. And if you got zombie wards, which is something that most supports should and most AD carries should have, and it is, you're gonna be littering the map with this. AD carries should most of the AD carries, if you're gonna go into that tree, zombie wards is really easy to proc because you can boost a lot of your stats by killing the wards early game. And what you do is that your support runs with sweepers. You can actually get sweepers before your item is ready sometimes. And let's say that you're a 500 out of 500, 400 out of the 500, right? That back, you just get sweepers. You start sweeping out. Your money gold is gonna be back on the next back, and likely you're gonna be there for just a couple of waves, maybe 2 3 waves, and then you go back. And then your AD carry is just stacking that passive up rapidly. So, something to keep in mind when you guys are doing that. Vision score is good to keep it to yourself, but when you're playing constructively, you want to give that vision score for passives. So if you got zombie wards, that's a reason number one to give it. So whatever you do here is the same thing that you want to do here. A lot of the times, if you want to see the control in this brush, you can control this socket right here. And that socket, what it's gonna give you is the entrance and exit. So like sometimes you will see that some mid laners do the recalls right here, right?
Mhm.
They don't want to be on this side over here because then somebody's gonna be, like from here, and you're recalling right there, right? And I'm an Ari, I can just charm you right here, or I know you, or like even try to get into tower range, or fake you out, and then you're gonna move. So what they want to do is sometimes they do a recalls right against this rock because it's equal movement. So you're not gonna go through here. You're gonna get hit by tower shots. And if you're gonna go and interrupt me, then you run the risk of getting shot by the tower. Look how steep this movement is, right? Like one step further, I'm getting I'm getting hit already, right?
Well,
A lot of
also,
times too, people go to like great lengths just to try to hold you hostage and lane at low HP.
Yeah, exactly. So a good way to recall is here. So what you're gonna do is if you're playing aggressive, this is a great way to know. So you're already gonna be pushing control. At least your jungle, if you're gonna be playing from this bottom side, your jungler job is gonna be to push control into this quadrant right here. This is where most of the early, game pink wars are gonna be if you're playing aggressively towards them, right? So you're not gonna need a ward right here.
well,
Like look at the amount of vision that gives you alone, right? So if you don't see him in here, very easy to check right here, very easy. This is more risky, like I said, because how close proximity you have with the tower. So this could be a point where somebody CCs you on the tower and you boom, you're dead, right? So putting your wards right here is a one way to do it. Your supports and your bot lane sometimes that will be controlling this ward right here with a pink rather than using a pink right here because this pink controls not only the movement from mid lane but also siege into the dragon pit. A lot of the junglers, what they will do is they will come in here, hit this, and then discover whatever you got in here anyway. So it's a pointless pink unless your jungler cannot do in lane gank, and then they need to come through here. So like if I'm playing a Hecarim, this will be a good point of control, right? If you control this, you don't need to pink this because you will know, right? They have to come towards. They gotta pass through here before they can come and put up a warning here, and then you can easily come in here, clear it with a sweeper, and then fight off whoever is coming in here for this brush control. Only
you're-
if you are trying to do river gank on here, but if
that's
you
too late
got,
for Hecarim.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Hecarim right here, they will have to come through
Hecarim's
here.
already E'd through the river, or he's
Yeah.
gone behind Raptors. So
Well, and that's the funny part, right? Champions like Rames, Hecarim, Udyr, champions that have a linear movement speed, but they have to collide against you, are really bad lane gankers because you have to go from here. Let's say that your opponent is right there, right? I gotta go, yeah, dude. They
But
see me
not
coming.
hit minions as well.
Right, not hit minions. If you're
yeah,
Ramus, there's a lot of colliding problems. But if you come from this angle, a lot of the times what I do with Hecarim is that I position myself here. I don't even go towards them. I go towards their back. Why? Because now they have nowhere to go. My E lasts for a very long time. I go through here. Now they have to fight me off. I can just, E somebody or like, CC somebody from the very back.
I
And
think Wait, Kai, I could add something here.
go ahead.
I think the real vision issue I see when it comes to bot lane is one of like the more prominent bot lane gankers that you see a lot in the jungle is Nunu, and I never really see like bot laners
Far
properly
vision.
warding against.
I
Yeah.
always put a ward kind of where Scuttle Crab is because it gives me the
Yeah.
entrance to
Usually
blue
even
and
then
it
it's
gives
like
me deep.
I'll tell you, the strongest word for bot lane is right there.
I try to get that if I can
That
push.
right there, what I just did, every support should be doing.
if you're pushing
Word
under
right there,
tower
yeah,
and you only
word
ward
right there,
scuttle,
boom.
it's not worth it.
Always take those, guys. If you're a range support, the moment that you're warding here, you see that, just blast it away. Every single
It
time you take those away, you're
spawns at
taking
5:15 or
movement.
5:25 or 5:20.
This one's, I think it's around minute 3. This one right here shows up like 1 minute 10 or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
'cause you can take that over.
I'm saying the lower ones. There, that's like 5 minutes something.
We're gonna have to take a look at that later if you guys wanna, like
Yeah,
get a timing
I'm like
on
I'm
all
fairly
that.
certain that's around like 5:25.
Yeah. All right. So now let's go to the quadrant of bot lane, and let's start from early game because most of the ganks, most of the invades are always towards this side over here. Actually, for whatever reason, the right side of the map seems to be the spicy side of the map. Don't know why. It's just, I guess, logically speaking, a lot of people are probably like, right-handed, so they focus on the right side by, by autonomous. But most of the people in elo, so any elo, I would say no matter what elo, they're gonna do the pathing that I'm doing right now. As you can see right here, this is the pathing of every low air, low effort engage. Is this right here? All the time they're gonna run. Everybody stacks right here, wait for like 3 seconds, and then they do something stupid like this. They go from here to here.
Nah, you hug that wall.
The reason why this is stupid is because the moment that I come in here, you see me already, right? So if you're gonna go with a low effort gank, a low early, you want to hug this wall as much as possible. And I'm gonna let me kill this. Let me kill that. And what I'm gonna do is, because I don't really have a way to control the
Hey,
opponent's vision control,
I say
I'm gonna take that off.
just to answer the one question, the first outer cone spawns between 5 minutes and 5 minutes and 30 seconds.
There you go. So you're here now, right? And your opponent has this guarded for whatever reason. And I'm gonna show you guys why going from here is just a bad idea. Look at this. If I can see him, he can see me already. Look at the distance. That's a huge distance. There's no way you're gonna gap that. But if I go right here and I'm holding here, I am able to see his little feet, and he still don't see me. I'm gonna show you. Let's say that I'm like an Eddie Carey, and then let me see. Wait for the vision control to go away, right? Right, and I'm just sitting here. A lot of the times, for whatever reason, they sit right here.
That's the worst spot for an AD
That's
carry.
like
to sit.
literally the worst spot.
Yeah, I don't know why ADC
Now,
sit there.
now but you see it all the time though. Like I'm not lying. You see this all the time, right? I'm gonna get ganked from here. I'm gonna get ganked from here. I'm gonna get ganked from here. Now 3 points, the weakest point right here. This
Shit
is
behind Bulldog.
also really bad, and the reason why is because if I'm right here, if I don't position myself well, let's say that I'm right here and I didn't make it all the way to the actual point that you're gonna control, the guys can walk all the way through here and I don't see them. They see me already, but I don't see them. The point of control, guys, is right here. Right there where I'm sitting at. You see this little ledge?
Yep.
The blocky side? That's it. Sit right there. You will see them exit. The moment you see them exit, okay, I'm bailing out. Okay, they're coming to invade. If they're trying to come from that brush, they have to exit the brush area. They cannot get through here, which is the reason why I'm here. The reason why you position yourself here is because you can see the edge of there, and you can see the edge of that brush. They have to exit one way or another. Now, if you get a Blitzcrank, this is the one thing that I would definitely say. If you're getting into a Blitzcrank, that's not safe because the Blitzcrank can come in here, pretty much blast his flash over. He's gonna run Hextech anyway. That will be an Alistar will do it too. You know, their flash is
Yeah.
refundable, honestly,
Or Rel.
and they can just come in here or Rel. Yeah, exactly. So those are the kind of champions that you gotta be watching out for. And Nautilus too. I've seen some Nautilus run Hex Flash. They
Yep.
can just flash
Pretty
in,
good.
and their team goes from here. And as they push you in, they're already on your back. You see what I mean?
I have one
So
question for you, Billy. I know Nice and a couple other coaches have pushed for another spot. So if you pan up to blue, there's that more to your right. And
like
up, up. Keep going up. Up more. Like that crevice where the next pathing is, even up even more, because you can see them walk in any of those 3 paths up. That's the
top
right.
right.
You
Top
talking
right.
about right
Up.
here?
No,
Nope.
up higher.
Up even more. Like yeah,
To the
by
right
that
now?
tree. Kind of over here ish.
Yeah, like right
Because
there.
you can see all pathways, you can just disengage because there's too many walls.
If you're here, and in my opinion, if you're here, right? Yes, you can see this. But when I push into this brush, and this is something that I do often when I'm playing support, right? If I push into here and I get here and there's absolutely no vision, like no one is here, the first thing I'm gonna do is come through here.
Yeah, it'll still catch that.
If I'm here, whoever is in here needs to exit, and their only way to exit is this way, right? If I see them running and they say, "Oh shit, I'm gonna go this way," I'm chasing you until the end of the earth, bro. You got nowhere else to run. You're running towards my base now. You see what I mean? The only path that this person that may be here guarding, like let's say that you have somebody guarding in here, they have to go up. And by the time that you do that, I'm here with you. I'm gonna go up too. If you're here, you don't see me coming.
Yeah, we also have
Unless you
a
have
wall.
a ward placed right here, which is the support ward or the AD carry ward, and then you're sitting in here. Yes, this is perfect. But I have no open angles. See?
And it gives up the jungle too.
Right.
That's
So no matter where they come from at this angle, I'm good. All I have to do is exit to my right. Not up. You don't want to chase this up. There's too long of a path. This is the reason why AD carries don't play top. You see how long this stretch is?
I've never gotten caught in that position.
I see some people panic and just go up, and they just flash and grab you, and then what you're gonna do? Flash?
Oh.
AD carry
Because you
flash
catch
for
them
a
so
support
if you
flash?
react early enough, I've always been able to walk.
Yeah.
I've never been flash grabbed or anything.
I mean, you can flash
Yeah.
from there. See what I mean?
Well, I'm not even flashing. I just walk straight up. Like
Yeah, but
the blitz
I'm
tries
saying,
to flash me, and I'm fine.
I'm saying if you get caught in here, like let's say that you get caught, like they come through here, and you didn't have a ward right here. If you react, you can just passively flash out.
Yeah.
In my experience,
So
whenever I watch ADC sit there, what happens a lot is they'll try to walk around just into the tower, and then hook support
They-
will follow them and just hook them out of the tower, and they're dead.
exactly, and then they're
That's
dead.
happened a lot in my ranked games.
5 minutes in the early game without flash is risky, and I understand that, but it's a lot more risk if you die and then it is 120 and then you get to lane and all of a sudden now you're a level behind. That right there is the death of your lane. Experience is king, right? Remember that you can lose 100 gold and come back 100 gold, but if you lose 100 EXP over somebody else in lane, especially on the solo laners, is the difference of them being able to smash your face in at level 6 or like controlling the lane altogether now because they're a level ahead. Always gonna be a level ahead if they're even with you. So yeah, putting a ward right here, if you're playing defensive, like let's say you're not invading, just put a ward in there. One person right here, that will be good enough. You're controlling this entire entrance right here. The support or the mid lane, they can come right in here if they want. And no need to use any further one ward. That's all you need. A single ward. See that? Full control. Like let's imagine somebody's here. Let me put up a ward right there.
So for me as an ADC, if we're winning bot side, right? Like maybe they back or whatever. I normally ward. You see like your second ward that you put down.
This one
Yeah.
right here?
No, the top one.
Yeah, right here.
So I normally put my ward on the tree, on the left side. Yeah, like
Let's
right
clear
there.
the words. Yeah, let's clear the words real quick. All right. So let's say that I put it on the tree, right? What do you see right there?
I mean, I just go for all the entrances.
Right. But if you put the word right there, right? And in my opinion, like a word is a lasting point. You can sit here. If you got control here, you can sit at the tree. But the problem is the same thing applies, right? Your point of escape is gonna be through here, which they can chase you. It's gonna be through here, which they can chase you. Or if you're gonna go all the way to the right, it's very long path walk.
Oh no,
So-
I'm sorry. I was talking more of invading, not defending. So,
He's talking about during
Oh.
landing phase.
So if you're the invaders, you mean?
yeah.
Yeah, if you're the invaders, that ward right there works. Sometimes you can put the ward even a little bit more aggressively towards there. And the reason why is because the jungler, what they're gonna do is they're gonna kill this thing,
Hold it.
bah, 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 you know, like let's say I kill it or whatever. Oh, this is fun doing
Give
this.
him a second.
So
You're
I
just
kill that
yamming
thing.
on that blue.
Yeah, poor blue. And then I'm gonna hit this thing, and as it starts to die, I'm gonna be here, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, just die, brother. All right, boom, and then I'm gonna sit on that ward on this vision right here for a bit. So then you can time the times of when everything dies, and what that's gonna tell your jungler is the timing of your death on blue, the timing of your death, Krugs, and then when you come back at level 5, they're gonna know exactly at what time everything died. If you put it in here,
Yeah.
they don't see this. They don't see this either. So if you took a little bit longer, and dude, and this is like stupid, but if you took a little bit longer on killing something, and the automation in the game, right? Because now the game is gonna tell me timers. You see what I mean? And these approximate timers are free data that the game is giving you. I don't know why League decided to do this. And when we used to play on like third seasons, this information was gold information, right? You don't want to give out this information ever, but now the game gives it to you for free. So a ward, this ward right there, is literally giving you two timers that you know that champion is going to be there, or at least the jungler is going to try and contest it, because the two camps are very easy to clear and very profitable. On top of that, you kill this and then you kill that, you're at full health, right? So
Grump is
these
king.
two clears, then you can move into here or do a gank or whatever. Oh, I shed the bed, no, nothing happened. Okay, I'm gonna go and kill my wolves now. See what I mean? And that happens at level 5. Doesn't happen early, but at level 5 it happens. So the only reason why I don't like this as a jungler is because I have absolutely no data of death camps. I don't see when this dies. I don't see when that dies. And in my head, I explained this to the team when I used to play all the time. But in my head, the reason why I successfully do good counter jungling is because I keep track of not only my camps, but the parallel information of the jungler too. So I can catch him every single time whenever he's doing a rotation. It's kind of like that meme with Terry Crews where he says like, when you go in shower, I'm gonna be there. It's kind of like that. Yeah. So that's the reason why this is not my favorite spot. And I'm gonna kind of explain it again. When you're playing defensively, guys, the only ward that you want to spend early game is there. Wards early game for defensive playstyle is your lifeline, right? So like, imagine if you're playing a Kog'Maw, Lulu lane, which is extremely popular until it got kind of nerfed, but still good, right? And you're kind of immobile. You know you're not gonna have a dash or anything to move away. Your wards is just a temporary band-aid where if they come, let's say that they kill this thing, and they started on red and they did red, this that they tried to gank mid lane, decided that I'm not gonna waste time going into my left side because now I'm behind on the clock. They know I gank, so what they're gonna do is they're gonna try and sweep everything that they can, right? Kill this, and then go back to bot lane. And the bot lane is unsuspecting because they know that you started on red. Because most of the time, you're gonna get some defensive wards in the early game to know where the jungle is starting at least, and the jungle just bamboozle you by coming back into your lane. But you wasted two wards at the very beginning of the game. Your wards are not up yet, not for another minute or minute and a half, depending on how late you dropped it. And that's the reason why blowing two wards at the beginning on the bot side is a bad idea. Only one. And around 2 minutes and 45 to 3:15 is when you should drop your next ward. And you want vision depending on where you are. If you're in this side, let's say that you're playing in this side of the map, then your ward, likely you want to put your ward right here, so that way that they cannot go behind you. The jungler, if they come from this position, all you got to do is run back, right? But if they come from behind, the same thing applies. Now you're in a pincer attack. So if you're on the opposite side, which is how you would play it out, I see a lot of bot laners coming around and be like, I'm gonna get a ward deep in here. No idea why, because to be honest with you, that's a waste of ward when you're playing on this side of the map at early game. There's no there's very little gank potential through lane because the minions are likely not being barraged or there's not enough wave clear, right? And on the top of that, if they were to come from behind you, early game, this tower kills you in 2 shots, pretty much. Just too much damage right now. So tower diving early level 5 is, unless you're playing Elise, you're inting. Something like that, right? An Elise or a Sack, maybe. Even Sack is pushing it now because the towers would just obliterate
And you can't
your
TP
little
to the blob.
saplings.
Well, they
Yeah,
also nerfed some of the tower damage, but it's still bad.
it is still bad. A tower dive should not be done unless you know for a fact that you can at least sustain 3 tower shots or 4 tower shots and then mitigate the damage, right? So
Or you
if you're
can
playing on
trade
this
very
side,
well.
I usually don't even put a ward right here and I isolate it out here because this is my side of the jungle. My jungler is going to be controlling this. My jungler is not wanting to allow this to happen to come through here. And then because this is the weak side of the jungle side, they're likely going to put a ward right here or put a ward right there. So if your jungle is controlling that side or pushing even, let's say that they're playing a Shackle, right? Or somebody really aggressive, then you want to put your wards further in. So that way you can catch them moving because you want those 1v1s, right? You want that, and by your support giving you vision control right there, which is where you should put the ward, by the way, so that way you can see the pit and also the river. Um, I am totally fine in this position right here. If you think that the jungler is a jungler that may be able to engage all in on you, let's say like a sack or something that is going to be initiating from this brush, then yes, by all means, put the ward right here. Or let's say like a Sejuani or something, or like an Amumu, that they need to like grab the wall cover because their face ganks are really bad. You don't need to put it in here. Your jungler can be the one to control the pit area because they're very tanky, kind of mobile champions. They got good CC but nothing else. And then your support can just put up a ward right in that corner right there. That corner is invisible to a pink ward right here, but it's visible to a pink ward here. So you gotta be watching out. This you would actually have to fight for brush control here. You don't want your opponent putting a pink ward right here. They can put a pink ward right there. That's fine. I just don't want anything in here. And from behind, you got the control of your jungle right there. What that's gonna give you is gonna give you literally like 2 seconds. Like right now, I have Moby boots on, right? So I'm moving really fast. But imagine a jungler passing through here. That's like 3 seconds or 2 seconds and a half of information. Enough for you to be able to reach, right? In lane, when going into the defensive parts of that, a lot of the times they're gonna be kind of like an opposition. You gotta play to your strength. So a lot of the times when you're talking about to your team, like, oh, where is the defensive lining of wards or the offensive lining of wards? It depends on your composition. If you add a strong top and a farming mid, then your aggressive lining of wards should be towards the top side. And on the bot side, your mid laner, instead of putting their wards towards the lateral left, because that's going to be the strong side, you want your lateral right, because you're going to be playing to the weak side. So your mid laner want to control this brush right here, and wants to control this brush right here. These don't matter anymore. All you're going to do as a mid laner, play to the left. And you know that you got your strongest side of the left. So you blade yourself to the left all the time. They have to come through the weak side, which is the right side, to be able to gank you. A lot of the time, some people will make the entire route over here and go through here. This ward right here overpasses this ward right here. Again, this only applies for champions that cannot brush hop, right? Kha'Zix, Lee Sin, any of those. So just be mindful of that information. If they can brush hop, control the brushes. If they cannot brush hop, control the side brush. This right here. That's the golden rule. All right. If you have a ward right here, you don't need a ward right here. If you cannot put a ward right there, because you're at risk, put the ward right there. And the reason why you put it right here is because a lot of the times what the jungler is gonna do is they're gonna come in here, even if they jump. Let's say that they do jump right here, right? With like a Kha'Zix or whatever attack. I don't know. Whatever champion has a way to pass a wall, and they see this up, they're not gonna hit that right away sometimes. because they want to do a gank. But if they don't have a gank potential, they're gonna hit it. So you're gonna be able to see that. You're gonna be able to time when this died, and you're gonna be able to like bother them for like 3 seconds, having to clear your ward, and then everybody be like, "Yo, junglers on the bot side, everybody chill." As long as you are not giving away your back, you're good. Kind of like a grappling match. Um, on the bot side laning, this is something that I would like for you guys to kind of discover on your own. But when I play support, a lot of the times, if I'm the aggressor,
Hmm.
I don't put wards right here. It's pointless. I want to be the one to force the ward right here. And the reason why is because if they put up a ward in there, I just go through here. And all of a sudden, I got their back. Or I do a fake out, right? They put up a ward in there. I wait until my minion line is pushing towards out of vision, and then I come through here, out of this brush, in the early game. Now, mind you, once they get their item to put wards down, it becomes difficult. It becomes more difficult, right? Because they're gonna have more wards available. But early game, you want to force your opponent. If you're playing aggressive, ward this. Like, let's say that I'm playing Brand, and I'm just throwing like nukes out of this brush, and you don't put up a ward in here, man, you're gonna be eating a lot of damage. And if I'm playing very aggressive, and we're just smashing the lane, my ward goes in there, and my other ward goes again, like we were talking about, right here. Kill this. 2 wards. There you go. One controlling that area, one controlling this area. Your jungler wants to be playing to your strong side all the time. If you have a lane that is a weak lane, don't play for that lane. If you see a Nasus into the areas, right? Don't play for the Nasus. The Nasus job is to mitigate as many ganks and as many deaths as possible, while the junglers playing to the ganking lanes are gonna be strong into the mid game. That's what you want to secure. Your mid game is your bread and butter. You can lose early, but if your mid game is strong and you kind of like take the game over a mid area, it's a lot harder for you to take over a game at late game than it is to take a game that we're losing on the early and then take it over mid. That's just the dynamic of the momentum that the game carries. Um, there's more to it, honestly. But yeah, we've been here for like almost 50 minutes, so I figured
Yeah.
that this is good enough
Yep.
for today.
I do have one question for you. So traps can give visions like Jin traps. Sometimes when I'm against like I don't know like a rel or something, I'll put traps in the lane bushes just so I can have if they're trying to camp it to get vision control. Do you think that's fine? Because it's not
It
as expensive as a ward.
it should be used. Uh, just think of a plane like Timo, right? Why does
Yeah.
Timo push the brush? Yeah. Why is it that